Right now we're going to be looking at homes with porches where the foundation runs along the front of the porch rather than underneath the floor of the house. Now these can be a real problem. So this is what I'm talking about here. You see the foundation runs along the perimeter of the house, but right in here it runs along the front of the porch, and that's a different floor. So this has a perimeter foundation, except part of that perimeter is in front of a porch. Let me show you why that's a problem. So here we have the foundation at the front of the porch, and then here is the porch itself, and you'd walk up a set of stairs, and then you'd get on your porch right here, and then you would step up into the house. So if you go out your front door, look down, and you'll see that your porch is about 3 inches below the floor of the house, where you live. So that means there's 2 floors here. So here's the floor of the house, here is the floor of the porch, and because they're independent, if you put a shear wall right here where the foundation is, it's not connected to the floor of the main house. So something needs to be done about that. Now these posts right here that support the entire front, they just don't have any lateral support at all. I mean, you can't count on these to do anything. They're just going to tip over. So the thing that's so concerning about this is that you can do a full seismic retrofit on this, go onto the perimeter of the foundation everywhere just like you're supposed to do it, but you won't have protected the house at all. So this is an example of the sort of thing we've seen. So a contractor will come in and he'll be, in the crawl space, and he'll look over here and say, hey, there's some foundation, and there's some foundation, and there's some foundation with a cripple wall, and then over here there's foundation with a cripple wall. And he'll say, okay, now I've got my standard plan A or FEMA P1100 guideline or whatever it is, and I need to go to each one of those foundations and build a shear wall. So he'll come here where that green line is, he'll build a shear wall there in front of the porch, and then he'll put one here, and then he'll put one here, and then he'll put one here. And we just saw by putting this shear wall here at the front of the porch, he has not protected the house at all. So even though he will have followed the seismic retrofits guidelines precisely, he still won't have protected the house. Remember, we need to attach all 4 sides of the house to foundation, and what we have here is a situation where the front of the porch is attached to foundation, except the front of the house is not attached to foundation. So we have no choice except to put some foundation there. So what we normally do is we'll put a segment of foundation right here up against the side of the existing foundation. Then we'll dowel that new foundation into the existing foundation with some epoxy bolts. And then when we're done with that, we'll put shear walls on either side of that foundation. While we're there, we might as well go ahead and make it as strong as we can. When you're putting in shear walls and you put in your foundation already, putting in some extra hardware and extra plywood on one side of the foundation is not a big deal. So we go ahead and do that and make it stronger. So at that point, we have all 4 sides of the house floor attached to the foundation. We have it where we put in the new foundation, and then all the other 3 walls that you can see here where the existing foundation was suitable for a seismic retrofit. This is the kind of damage you'll see with these houses that have the great big wide porches like this. Now right here, it looks like the cripple wall collapsed to the left of the stairs. But normally this would have the whole foundation right here. The foundation would run right along here, hold up the porch with a cripple wall, and here that cripple wall collapsed, and then this back right here would be just sitting on posts, and that simply couldn't hold the house up, and that's why this one failed. So this is the reason why we always want to make sure we put some foundation there in the front, because we can't rely on the foundation that's there already. So let's go ahead and review what the problem is again. So this is a retrofit that was done according to FEMA P1100 or Standard Plan A or any of the retrofit guidelines. And what they've done is they put shear walls on all 4 sides of the house along the perimeter foundation. Now contractors, what they're told is to go to the perimeter of the foundation, put in your shear walls, all your bolts, etc. And so when they crawl into a house, if they're not real careful, if they don't know what a load path is, they'll just look at all the different walls and say, okay, I need to put some plywood here, some bolts here, etc., without realizing that putting the shear wall on the front of the porch has not protected the house at all. So this is a real serious problem that any retrofit guideline needs to be careful of, because if you can do all the work just like the book says and achieve absolutely nothing.